Hey everyone, this is Prince from Desi Programmer. Welcome back to yet another exciting video where we're going to continue building our social media applications using Flutter with features such as creating an account, following a friend, using a timeline, adding your post, video calls, audio calls, chat and live streaming. All this is going to be possible because of ZEGOCLOUD, which is a platform that gives us SDKs and APIs for building our application with voice call, video calls, live streaming and so much more in a very easier way. The reason why I love this product is because while it gives you a lot of options to build video call application, voice call application, live streaming, there is AI effect, virtual avatar, in-app chat, cloud recording, and an analytics dashboard, which is going to be very useful when you are building an application for telecommunication, medical, or education. What's most interesting here is that you also get UI kits using which you can build your application with a very beautiful UI in no time. All that will be powered by ZEGOCLOUD and their high performing solutions with no lag in video call, voice call or live streaming whatsoever. Now if you remember, we have already done few stuff. I mean, it's not the best out there, but still it's so much that can give you an understanding of how things may work at the core level. Anyway, by the end of this video, I'm going to tell you about two things. The first thing is that how we can, set up the chat with using Firebase, how you can model the data and everything. The second interesting thing that I will tell you is that while these things are really good for learning purpose, if you actually want to use something like this in production, you will realize that you really need to spend a lot of time. You will see how within a matter of 20 to 30 minutes, I will set up a chat system that you will really love. But that's not something that goes into production. So you will have to see that. And that's when I will going to introduce third-party solutions, which I often thought that I should not be using. I mean, I often thought that it kind of demeans me as a developer, as a beginner, as a developer, that no, I should be doing everything on my own. I will build my own solution, but that's not it. Anyway, moving forward about chat. So the thing is that we're going to have a chat button. So when user clicks on chat button, there are two possibilities. There is an old chat that exists between two users. So what you have to do, you have to continue the chat. Or the second possibility is that there is no old chat. So what you have to do right now is that you have to start a new chat. Okay, then we go forward to building the chat documents and whatnot. So that's what's going to happen here. So what I'm going to do is just to keep things simple, we're going to have bottom navigation bar with something called a chats, where you will see the list of all the chats that you have been doing. Then you can search a user, right? And then here you will see a button called a chat. When you click on that particular chat document will open. And also on the chats, you can click on a button and then open. Basically, you can click on a chart tile and then open the chat. So anyway, let's not confuse this. Let's move forward and actually do this. So this is our home page, right? We're having everything here, kind of a jargon, but that's okay. So what we're going to have here is our bottom navigation bar, which is going to be a bottom navigation bar. Obviously, there are going to be items, and we're going to have bottom navigation bar item. Okay. Yep. So we need an icon. It's going to be icons.home, the first one. And let's just keep it as it is. Then we're going to need two more. So the next thing that I need is chat, and the last one that I need is let's say live. Is there anything available? Okay, there's live help, live TV. Let's leave it as live TV. Then I'm pretty sure that you need label too, or else you're going to get errors. You're going to give label. I'll just keep the same label here, but let's change it. So we have chat, and then we have something called as live. Let's save this. Now as you can see, you have this nice cute looking bottom navigation bar. Moving forward, now what I need next is that I have to render different pages based on the navigation bar. For as most of you know how we can do that. We can do that using index stack. So let me show you that. What I just have to do is let's go back here. Now in your home page, right, we simply have home.dot and search.dot whatnot. So now we are going to actually have something called as, let's say, home page.dot. By the way, usually I change this home.dot as base.dot. You just have the base configuration. For example, bottom navigation bar, drawer, and then the index stack, and then other pages have other pages. So right, we're going to just say simply home page.dot right now, for the case of simplicity. Then from the home, this entire padding stuff that you see, right, I'm just going to grab all this. Okay, cut it, go here, and I'll create a stateful widget. We'll name that, let's say, home page. I hope that this was not home page. Okay, so this is also home page. So I'll just change all the occurrences. I'll name it to home. We will return the padding here. So this is everything that we have to return, and then I have to import everything. That's kind of what I have to do. So alright, text post, image post, and all this jargon data. Then we also need Firebase auth to come from here. We also need these things. So okay, let's actually add it. Kind of a time taking job, but I will show you how I'm doing that so that it's not an issue later. So here we have a text editing controller, and I think this is complete. Now we go back here. I don't need this right now, and here in the body is empty. What we need is an index stack. Okay, now the index stack needs two things, index and children. So for example, in children we are going to have 3 child. We are going to have our home, and then we are going to have chats, then we are going to have live. Right now we don't have them, so I'll simply have 2 more container. But I also need an index here, the only property that I now need in this home page. So we are going to have an integer which will be index. By default it is set to 0. So like we are at the 0th index, which means we are at the home page. Then here in our bottom navigation bar, I'm saying on tap, we also take an I, which is the index on which it was tagged, and we call set state, and we are saying alright, change the current index to the tapped index. That's it, our job is done. Alright, now when you click on this, that will be changed. Although I think there is some issue here, right? So for our index stack 2, we have to say the index which it should look up to. So this is the index, and now you see when you click on refresh, so we have home, we have chat, then we have live. Right, looks like there's still some issue. Let's go, let's check. Here also we have to mention the current index which will come from the index. Now everything is up and right. So we have chat, live, chat, and home. Now what you can do is that you can also remove this app bar from here, and then this can be changed, right? So if you want, you can do that. I'll give an example. I'll cut this. Right now, if you save, that's not visible. So I'll go back to my homepage.dot, and I'll wrap this with a visit. So my padding should actually have a, basically what I'm trying to say is that it should have a scaffold, which means I have to change this child to body, and then here I can paste my app bar, save it, and there you go. Now you have an app bar here. So here you can also add chats, and here you can add live. Anyway, so what we basically have done as of now is that we have simply set up, we have changed our home page a little bit. Okay, now here when you search, as I said, I just want to introduce a new button that says chat. So let's go to our search page, and here as you can see, in the trailing we had all the jargon code here that's going to stay as it is, but as you can see in the body we have a column and whatnot. So if the user is not null, we get the data. Then we have a list tile which has this button in trailing. Okay, now what can we do? We can add a row in the trailing, right? Or we can add a button below. There are so many different ways to handle it. What I'm going to do is that I should actually just add it as a leading button. So it's going to be an icon button. Okay, so the icon is going to be icons dot chat, because see, as I have already said in the entire video, I care about the functionality, not about the visual aspect right now, because see, that is another different thing, how much visually appealing you want this to be, right? I don't care about that right now. All I care about is the the working aspect of it, right? So I also colored it to colors.indigo. It looks good right here now. Okay, so this is how we have a chat up where you can click and the chat should start. Now let's get to the interesting part. How are we actually going to store the chat messages? Okay, so you see what we're going to do is that in our Firestore database, as you can see, we're going to have a collection here called as chats. In that collection, interesting thing is how do you recognize which two users are chatting? Okay, so what I'm going to do is that we're going to have a collection called chats where we are going to add some data. So let's say, for example, I came to this particular user, right? When I click on this, there are two possibilities. A chat can exist or a chat doesn't exist. So first I have to check if a chat exists or not. So document, my data model is going to be something which has an array of users from which one user can be this particular user. Okay. So what I'm going to simply say is that I need a query. So I'm saying query snapshot. Let's say Q is going to be await Firebase firestore.instance.collection. The collection is going to be chats, and I'm saying where, find a document where in the users array, here take a look at it, in the users array, what I need is that array contains this particular user. Okay, come on, sorry, array contains this user, and then I'm saying dot get. So this is the query. I just need the current user ID, so I'm just going to copy this and we're going to simply paste it. Let's save it. Okay, so this is going to give us some data, right? What I'm going to simply do here is that I'm going to say if q dot docs dot is empty, what I need to do is that create chat, not start chat, create a new chat. Else if this is not empty, what I have to do to start the chat. And that's interesting now. Okay, so let's see if you run the query, what happens. I'm not printing anything, right? So maybe I could print something. So let's say I'm simply printing no doc. Okay, so if it is empty, no doc, and here I'm going to simply say yes doc. Save it, click on this, and you are going to get no doc, obviously, because the document does not exist. Now what we have to do is that I'm simply going to create a document first. I'm not going to push to a chat page right now. I'm simply going to create a document, and then let's see what happens. So the data that I want to store in a document is going to be, let's say, what data is equal to, we need few things, right? Few things here. First, we need a users array, an array that can store both the users ID. So the first ID that I get is from here. All right, let me copy this and paste it. But the second ID that I get, that's what we're going to get from this particular document. Okay, so if you remember, what we're going to do is that here we are fetching a data of this particular user. Here in the list user builder, we get all the users which has a particular username. So this is snapshot has a data, right? So this is snapshot the data.doc is represents the document that the user got, and then we are going to run. Then we are running another query here already, which basically checks if that particular user has me as a follower or not, right? That's why when I follow and unfollow, here another document is created. Let's go to users. This is the person, right? This person has follower. I am right now, as you can see, I am a follower here. As I say unfollow, this document is deleted. So when I say again follow again, now this user has me as a follower. All right, so what I have to do now is let's search for test again. Now I have to simply add this user ID. Okay, so these two are the user IDs. I have to add both them. I mean, since right now we only have two users, I have to add both of these IDs in my collection as users. So the second ID, first one's mine, obviously. The second user's ID is going to come from this one, where we are going to do something like, this is the document of the particular user. So we said doc, and then when you go back here, you see in the users, you take any document, you see that the document's ID is the user's ID, as I said already. So if I do doc.id, I will get the user ID. This is the doc. I mean, this is everything that you need, right? Now, if you are actually using it right, you will have so many more fields here, like what is the recent text, what is the recent text time, is this person blocked or not, and basically so many. I'm just going to add one more field here, which is going to be recent underscore text, and that will just be, let's say, hi. All right, let's save this. Now what we're going to do is that we're going to click on this button again, and this should now basically, since there is no document, this was supposed to be here. Since there is no document, we have to start a document. So this is the data, and what I simply have to do is that I have to create a document with this data. We'll talk about moving to a page and doing whatnot later. So I'm saying dot add the data, and I'm saying an await. All right, let's save it. Now let's take a look what is going to happen. I click first time, it says no doc, but now a document is created here, which is why when you click on this for the second time, it's going to say yes doc. Let's take a look at the document that we just created. So let's come back here, let's go to chats, and this is the document. So these are the users here, and as you can see, the obvious mistake, the thing is that I am following myself, and I said that this is not something that I'm checking. So I've not added that, but it's a good thing. The reason why it's a good thing is because now let's click on prints. Okay, now what's going to happen is that when you go to prints and you click on this, it's going to say yes doc. But the thing is that I have started a chat with this person. This person can have any ID, right? Doesn't matter. But this another person, which is prints, they don't have an ID yet. So what's happening here is that now you're not going to get this. You're going to get a yes because this user has started a chat with one particular user. It's actually a very common mistake that I saw with some beginners doing, is that they were asking why is it not working. I'm simply searching array contains and whatnot. So the thing is, when you are doing this, like array contains and this, so it's saying true. It's true because there is one document which has this user as a UID. What you should be checking is that these both should match, not just one. So we have to actually handle that too here. So where we have this, and if I set this as an array, okay, and then I'm saying that the next element that I have to check in that array is going to be this particular user's ID. So we're going to do something like, I don't even have to go over there, I can simply say doc.id. Let's save it, let's click again, and now it says no doc, because now there is no document which has both these users as a user. And now as you can see, we have this new chat here with these two users. So I'll simply delete this one, and always remember to do this. This is a common mistake that people make, and then I mean, this is something that you won't even see right now, because when you're testing, you're having 1 or 2 chats, but eventually when actually push to the production, you will be like, okay, wait, why is this not working? Why is this person getting yes even though this person has no chat active right now? Anyway, once this is done, what I can do next is that now I know how many chats this a particular user has. So what I have to do is that I have to build a chat list based on that person. Okay, so let's do that. What I have to do next is in my home page, or anywhere in views, I can just say that I have a chat underscore list dot. Okay, a simple stateful widget. I call it chat list. Let's go here. We do very simple things like scaffold, which has an app bar that simply says that there is a title, which is your chats. Okay, next thing that we need is a body which is going to have a future builder. So now here you can actually also use a stream builder. So the thing with a stream builder is that if you're on your chat page, if somebody is sending you a message, it will be reflected even without you refreshing, even without you going back or coming front. I'm simply going to go with future builder here. We will use a stream builder in the chat itself. Now the builder has, again, we have context, we have snapshot, and we return something. I'm simply going to return text, right? Because what's important right now is to actually write the query that we need to handle, and that's actually pretty easy. Now here the query is going to be little different, but it's going to be the same. I mean, I said little different because here I need the same query. Let me just simply copy it. Okay, but the difference is that I just have to check if this one ID matches my user ID or not, because I want a list of all the chats that I am having, right? So which is why I'm saying where user, if the array contains this ID, just give it back to me. Let's save it right now. And now obviously we are going to get data if you go to chat page. So let's head over to home page dot, and then in my indexed stack, which is supposed to be at home, this second one is going to be chat list. Let's save it, let's go back, let's go to chat list. You get data, right? Again, we have to still do a lot of stuff here. So first things that if snapshot has data, only then we have to do this, right? Else simply return a circular progress indicator. Let's save it. So now we have this. So if snapshot has data, there is a very good probability that you have not texted anyone yet. So what you have to check is if snapshot dot has data, if snapshot data dot docs dot length, or basically you can say is empty, and this can be null. So I'm basically saying if it is null, just assume this to be true, because assuming it false has many issues. So I'm saying if this is the case, just return a text saying no chats, which is not the case with us. So we are not going to, okay, so we are going to get no chats. Now you see when I'm searching in an array, so that's what I don't need here. When I remove this, save it, now we have data, because now we are searching for one particular user, not an array. All right, moving forward, what happens next is that now I have data. So what I need is a list view builder. The item builder is going to take a context and an index. Okay, here we also need to set the item count. So I will say that the item count is equal to snapshot dot data dot docs dot length, and this is null, just assume it to be 0. And for each chat we are going to return a list tile. Now this can have so much more information. Obviously you can actually show the username, whatnot. What I'm going to show here is basically nothing right now. I simply have a title that has a text. I'm simply saying data. So now as you can see, we have one list tile. All right, because obviously I have one chat. So on tap, nothing, but now this is tappable obviously. Now here you can add trailing, leading, user icon, user name, whatnot. I'm just going to, this is going to be a static typed, right? Leading is nothing. For trailing, I have an icon which is going to be icons dot arrow forward. Come on. All right, arrow forward. So when you click on this, we are supposed to go to chat page. But just to show you that our query is actually working right, what I'm going to do is that now this is my username. Okay, I'm simply going to copy it, cancel, add document, auto ID, users. Then this is going to be an array, and one string is going to be this. The second string will be some random value. Let me save it. Let's go back here. Let's save again, refresh. Now we have two usernames. Why? Because we have two chats. Although this is a useless one, so I'm simply going to delete the document. Now what I can do is that here in the subtitle, I can show the recent text. So in the subtitle, I have a text, and that text will be the recent text. So first I need to get the document snapshot, which is going to come from snapshot .docs and this particular index. Okay, so let me actually first go here and typecast this. Now I'm saying document snapshot docs is going to come from snapshot.data.docs, then from this particular index. And yep, again same so we have, and I have to simply say that basically this is not null. Okay, let's save it. Now in the data I can simply set doc and recent text, and I really hope that is the key that I'm using. So we have recent underscore text, right? So let's save it, and then as you can see, you get the hi as a recent text here. So that's amazing. Moving forward, what we actually have to do is that we have to actually show a messages page here. Okay, and for that now there are two options. As we keep going forward, you will realize that you have to, we have to like just do so much here. So either you can use a library right now to build your chat UI, or you can do that on your own. I'm going to go on a limb and I'm going to do that on my own, just so that I can show you how, like even the basic stuff can be time taking, and actually adding a production level code is really time taking and kind of irritating too. So let's do something like chat page ... Now this is an actual page where the chatting happens. So I'm going to do a stateful visit, which is going to be chat page. Okay, let's save this. This need one thing. I need to send a document snapshot, because that's the particular chat document which you are going to use. So final document snapshot doc. This is the document that we are going to use for chat, which is why I'm going to say require this .doc, right? That's important. Let's remove this, and now I'm simply going to say return scaffold, not a const value. Okay, there's app bar, which has app bar, and usually what you will do, you will either show the user's name with user profile and whatnot. That's not what we're going to do. I simply has a title that says text, which says chat page. All right, let's save this, and you're done. So when you click on this, you have to simply send a document and come to this chat page. So let's copy this. Let's go back on tap. What I have is navigator of context dot push. We are pushing to a material page route, which takes a context, and it returns a page, which is our chat page. Now this page needs a document, which is the same variable name here, so no issue at all. I just have to add commas and this, and we are done. Let's click on this, and now you go to this chat page. Pretty interesting, right? Now after our app bar, we are going to have a body. The body is going to be a column, and this column is going to have children. Now what we're going to have is that I simply will have a row, and this row will have two children. First going to be an expanded, which will have a child that's going to be a text form field. All right, and the next one is going to be an elevated button. So elevated button, which is going to be text, and it simply says send. So basically, it's to send a message. Save this, and this is what you're going to get. Okay, I'm going to just give it a little better feel, so a padding, and then I'm going to add some decoration here. So let's say input decoration, which has labeled text, which will be your message. And then finally, what I have is something called as, actually it's looking pretty good. I mean, it's not very good, but it's okay-ish, right? What I have to do is that I need a text editing controller. So we have a text editing controller. which is going to be, let's say, message controller, and come on, message, just let it be message. That will be a text editing controller, so that we can erase the text after message has been sent. So here we have a controller which is going to be message. Let's save this. Now this is what I have right here, but this should be at the bottom, and I also need to build a list view here. So I'm simply going to say that I have an expanded widget here. The child is going to be a stream builder, because we have to build a stream of messages from the value. So now the builder is again same here. We have context and snapshot. All right, I'm simply going to return, let's say, some text as of now, nothing more. Okay, but here I also need to provide a stream, and the stream is going to come from visit dot doc dot, we have snapshots, sorry, reference dot snapshots. So every time there is a change in this document, just give me this. But here's something interesting. If you take a look at this, what's going to happen is that this is the document that we have in reference, right? But we can't save messages here. All the messages are going to stay in this another collection called as messages. So what we have to do is that in the reference, I'm going to say dot collection, which is going to come from messages, and then I need the snapshots. Now let's check, the same boilerplate stuff. If snapshot dot has data, then we return this text. Else, if there is no data, then we return, let's say, a circular progress indicator. A lot of boilerplate stuff, nothing too heavy that you can't understand. And then again we check that if snapshot dot data dot docs dot is empty, and if this is null, just assume this to be true. We are going to simply return some text which says no messages yet. You have not sent the user any message, and then here we have a question mark that this can be null. So let's save this. You have no messages yet, just as anybody would have assumed. Anyway, what we have to do here is that we have to actually now build, you can actually now build, or you can add any message. So let me just add a message so that we can start building, right? We have something as an async here, and you can do visit dot doc dot reference dot collection. The collection is messages, and what we have to do is add some data. Now let's add the data. Interesting part. What do you need here as a data? I'm just going on a limb here. I'm not adding anything that is too complicated, just a few fields. First one is time, which was the time in which this message was sent. So we have datetime dot now. UID, the user ID, which user basically sent the message. So we have Firebase auth dot instance dot current user, and I'm saying, hey, it's not null, it's not, basically it's not a null. I know that the user exists. And finally we actually have the actual message. So messaze, which is going to come from message dot text. All right, save this. And also, as you can see, I'm not doing checks like if somebody actually wrote something or not. That's not something that I'm actually concerned about here. That's just very basic stuff. So let me just save it. Let's do an await, and here I don't even have to do a basic set state here, because as soon as a document is added, it will automatically update it. So save it, and let's see what happens. I'm saying hi, and I click on send, and now it says EDST. I know that's not what you were looking for, but basically what happens is that now we have some message. So we have to do something called as a list view dot builder. All right, so first we need an item builder here. We need context, and we need index. Okay, come on. All right, I have messed it up. So we have context and not index, index again. I'm really sorry, I'm just getting a little confused right now. So this next thing that you need is item count. So we have snapshot dot data, saying if this is not null, then get all the docs. Come on, and then get the length, and if this is null by any chance, 0 messages. Then here what I have to do is that I have to simply return. So I'm simply going to return a text. Okay, and a text that says random gibberish here, nothing interesting. All right, but what I want to show you is that now here I have a document snapshot, which is going to be, let's say, MSG, basically the message right here, and this is going to come from docs of this particular index. The only difference is that I'm saying that, hey, I'm very sure that this is not null. And here I just want to give you the message.data. I'm just going to show you all the data that this particular message document have. Again, the UID, the time, and the message. 3 things that we know, we just basically inserted. Now, if a message is sent by me, I want to show it differently. If a message is sent by someone else, I want to show it differently, right? So let's first do that. Okay, so I'm simply going to check if the user ID is mine, then it's my message. If user ID is not mine, that means it's someone else's message. So I'm simply going to copy this thingy, copy, and then let's here we are going to say if message UID is equal to this UID, which means it's my message, else it's someone's message, right? So what do I do if the message is mine? Let's handle that. I'm saying if this is my message, then I'm simply going to return this text. Okay, not an issue, but I'm going to wrap this with a container first. Okay, why we are doing that? It's because we are going to give it some padding and some styling. Nothing much, just to show you how you can do stuff like this. So here, a little bit of padding, and I'm going to simply give it a decoration, box decoration. Then there is a color. I'm saying colors.indigo.shade 100. Let's save it. So this is how it looks, but I'm also going to wrap it with a row now. As soon as you wrap it with a row, you see this is what happens here. That's not what I'm interested in. So I'm saying that it is going to have a width, which is going to be media query dot of context dot size dot width into 0.7. Give it 70% of the screen's width. Again, now it looks nice, right? It does, obviously. We're going to give this some padding here. So let's say insects dot all, come on, 12.0. That looks good. Yeah, looks pretty good. Now let's give it something else. It's 8, and I have to give it some border radius. So we have border radius dot circular, that's a 12.0, and save it. So now this is how it looks. Again, I'm not saying that this is the interesting one, but that's also because I'm not going to show all the data, right? I'm simply going to do something like go to message, grab the message, and just show it here. This is what the message is going to be. Now since this is my message, I want this to come from this side, right? So I will go to row, and I will go say something like main axis alignment is main axis alignment dot end. Now this is the end. I'll do the same for my container. I will say that alignment is going to be alignment dot I'm very confused in left and right, so let me just go with right first, and I know it's wrong, so let me just go with left now. And again, it's not visible because I have to actually align the text and not the container. So we go to text align, and we say text align, come on, dot end. I don't think so, it's going to be left, come on, not left, so probably right. Let's save it, and still nothing. Obviously, because you see here in the container, I have to actually move this alignment now, right? So now this is how the message is going to look. Hi here. I'll give it some style. I'll just increase the text size. So let's say font size some kind of like 16 is. Save it, and this is how a message from me looks. So if I'm sending you a message again, and also let me just clear the text after sending the message. So here, let's say message dot text is equal to empty. Save this. So what I'm saying is that, hey, let's do something like good morning, and you can also send emojis here. That won't be a problem. Okay, let's click on sending again. Actually, I'm sending good morning too many times. Let's just add some other messages. Right now, this is one thing that is that this is not consistent. What I mean to say is that I sent hi first, and I said good mornings most recently. So good mornings should be the most recent message, right? Not good morning. So to do that, let me actually do something. Let me actually first go here, and in chats, in messages, let me just delete a couple of messages which was good morning. Just added it too many times, and I don't want to give a delete button there, at least not right now, because that works very differently. You don't actually delete the message, you basically just save a reference that this message is deleted. Most of the time that's what happens. Anyway, this is a couple of messages that we have got, and we don't want to show them like this. So let's change a few things here. One more interesting thing that I would like to change is that let's go to a particular message, right? Let's say this message is good morning. I'm going to change it to, let's say, from another user, and here I'm simply going to just change the user ID to anything. Doesn't matter as of now, right? You can just change it to anything, and it should be a message which is from another user. Now we basically have an issue here, so let's see what is that. So okay, this has to come from this side. Okay, let's go to chat list. So what's basically happening here is that, yep, sorry, not chat list, chat page. So I'm saying that if this is the UID right here, I'm returning a row here, but I'm not returning anything right here. So let's handle that. So if this is the user ID, I'm returning row. Else, in the else scenario, I have to return something. So I'm saying just copy the same stuff, not a problem, paste it here and save it. The only difference is that it should not come from end, it should come from start. The color should be, let's say I'm interested in yellow. Let's save it. Now this is how this message is going to look. I'm saying it's not right, it has to be left. So let's save it, and now it is left. The next thing that you can see that we need, okay, before the time is that I just want to have them, give them some kind of spacing. So let's say margin is going to be as insects dot only bottom, let's say 4.0. Just some margin to make sure that it looks good, and even 4 doesn't look very good. So let's go keep it 8, copy this, paste it here and save it. So now we have some margin, right? Last but not the least, very last thing that I have to do is that actually arrange these messages. So what we should do here is that I have to do something like as dot order by time. Save it, and now one thing is fixed, that it is actually ordered by time. What message you send, whatever recent message is, it will be here. So let's say if I'm saying I am friends, click on send. You see now this is the most recent message. Even if I go here and I'm saying, hey, let's search for the message which was called I am friends, which is this one basically. And even if I am supposed to change this so that it's reflected in such a way that it is from another user, it will still be my most recent message. And if you actually change the time, let's say I'm saying it's not 3:24, it's 3:20, update, then obviously it's going to go right up, right? So this is something that's actually going pretty well. Let's keep adding few messages and let's see what happens, right? So okay, just random messages, everything looks pretty good to me, right? So yep, I think yeah, it's okay, it's pretty good. But let me tell you something, I am more than sure that this has couple of bugs right now, and that's something that I mean even with this code base, okay? But in an actual application, the thing is very different. First of all, you won't be writing all this stuff right here in this way, right? You will probably have a very nice architecture with a central state management and whatnot to ensure that the code is manageable, easily maintainable, changeable and understandable to a lot of people. The second thing is that you won't just be doing things like like you see the way I'm rendering it, the UI won't be this easy, okay? The UI will change a lot and you will need a lot of checks. For example, you will need a lot of try catch blocks to ensure that there are no issues, that there are no exceptions. And on top of that, you also need things to basically render and check links. You will have to able to render images, videos and so many things, okay? And if you actually spend time building on all of that, again as a learning experience, it's good. But if you're actually building your product, I obviously suggest to everyone that learn this, that's completely fine. But if you're interested in building a product, okay, like if you're working for a company and if a company says that, hey, I'm paying you 50,000 rupees, whatever, like $1,000, $2,000, build me a chat application using Flutter and Firebase from the scratch, then you do that. That's completely fine. Okay, we will keep talking about such things later on. But if you're building your own product, if you're thinking that, yeah, you know what, this is a nice app, I think I should just add chat. So instead of investing all the time doing this, what you should do is that use a third-party service to integrate it as soon as possible. When and if, and I really hope that it does, when your business actually grows, when your product actually grows, then you see if the cost of actually having your own team to build and manage this particular part of product is going to be same or less than the cost that you have to pay to another company to keep doing the same thing, then you should probably think of doing it on your own. Otherwise, just keep going with a third-party service. I'll talk about this thing in detail. This is one of the reasons why I delayed my website for more than 1 year, because I was like, I won't be using any third-party service. I'll be building everything on my own, something that I shouldn't have done. But anyway, that's all a story for another video. As of this video, we have learned very basics of building chat applications. I still have one thing left to do, is that whenever you add a message here, okay, I should also add that to the recent message for my chat document. So let's do basic simple. I'm saying document.reference, and instead of all this I'm saying update. All right, I'm saying the recent text is going to be this message. So copy paste, and now it should be updated there. So you can write this code, and then eventually this message will also be updated here. So anyway, that's what we have learned in this video as of now. From the next video, we're going to integrate ZEGOCLOUD services to see how those services will help you build a very amazing chat application in a matter of minutes, and it will be actually amazing. It is even cost efficient if you think about it. So well, that's pretty much it from my side in this video. I'll catch you in the next video talking more about coding Flutter, Firebase and whatnot.